Hello everybody, welcome back to another Broodwar ladder battle today. Well, I was looking at my comments for the tier list and for my predictions for the round of 24, and it seems like a lot of you guys think that I am underrating Paralyze. So we're going to be taking a look at Paralyze today. He's spawning here in the top right hand corner. I realized I haven't really seen that much of him. In fact, I only have 2 replays in a ladder folder for Paralyze, so it's possible that I have him underestimated. I've underestimated this guy. He's going up against TY today, which is exciting. TY also in the ASL this season, so we'll get the little opportunity here to see how these two guys stack up. Now, they're not in the same group for this season of ASL. But, yeah, I put Paralyze pretty darn low. I put him, like, right at the bottom of my tier list because it's his first time in ASL. But a lot of you guys are saying, oh, no, he's much, much better than I'm giving him credit for. So, we'll see. Going up against TY here. And on this map as well, Litmus is quite an interesting map. As you can see, 3,000 gas in either of these 2 geysers. 2 geysers here in the main base, which in this matchup I don't really think makes much of a difference. I don't see how it's actually going to change much having this extra gas here in PVT. It really changes ZVZ a lot is what I found playing on the ladder. It's extremely impactful. One thing I guess is that it's a 2-player map where gas steal is impossible. You cannot gas steal. So, you know what? I take that back. It does change the matchup quite a bit because there's no point in stealing one of these gas geysers. Oh, this SCV is getting really low. Paralyze is working for it. He's really putting in the effort here to try and take that down. TY goes ahead and repairs that back up again. Just taking a couple of seconds to put some more HP on that SCV is going to take it out of the danger zone and force Paralyze back. And so, you know, a little bit of harassment has gone on. It looks like actually TY wants to open gasless. He hasn't taken either of these gas geysers yet, and so he's going to come down here to throw up his CC. He should be getting a barracks or a bunker on the way here soon. Wow, throws down a refinery right away before even making a second marine is pretty wild. Pylon goes down in the middle of the map. You know what that's for. Paralyze is going to put on some big time pressure in this game coming up. I guess it's long enough rush distance to where he's not really afraid that there's going to be a zealot walking in too quickly. Paralyze even skipped over that. Going to see this with the SCV, but doesn't really get much more of a scout than that. Not able to get into the main base, and so Paralyze is getting away with this Robo. Robo right out in front of the natural. A Reaver is going to be made. And we could also see a few units brought into the main base via elevator technique. Let's see if this earlier gas pays off for TY, if he's able to get some units out here in time to actually defend this properly. Already 2 Dragoons are out, and this Robo is about to finish. He's moving around the outside of the map with the SCV, just kind of checking things out, seeing if he can't spot any units moving across or proxies that might be thrown down somewhere. It's surprising to me he didn't check his back area here. That's a possibility. We could see something like that in this matchup. Players try to hop over. You can kind of mess around with Dragoons and a probe and try to get Dragoons into the back line, get them up into the main base, something like that, but not going to be the case here. You can see Paralyze checking out his back area, making sure that this Dark Origin-esque map feature isn't being utilized by TY. TY has 1 factory, and he's going to go for a starport. Is he going to go for a starport? eBay. 1 fact eBay into missile turret with a bunch of Marines here. That is interesting. Already a couple of Dragoons have been picked up, but you know what? These turrets are going to finish right in the nick of time. And the Marines are here. Oh, he's pulling the Marines out. Oh my gosh, pull the Marines back. Oh, he's built a second bunker. He actually, I think, knows about this, I guess. Yeah, he must know. Otherwise, why would he build this second bunker? Let me go ahead and take a look at the map vision. Has he scouted this area? It looks like he has. So I must have missed it there, him moving forward with an SCV to actually scout that out. Double bunker in the natural is pretty cheeky. That's going to be a lot of work to get through with the Reaver. I'm going to take quite a few shots to kill that off. And then a few more shots to kill the second bunker as well. Pull the SCVs here to try and keep this bunker alive as long as possible. Taking some damage there, but the tank with siege is now done, and the bunker is still alive here. Yeah, you cannot push into this area. Paralyze has been denied for now. Maybe there's a spot in the back here where you can drop, but look at that turret. Well placed here. Going to be very hard to deal with. Okay, he does drop. Try and get a couple of shots off. One big hit there kills 2 SCVs, but Paralyze has ultimately been denied. Bunch of Marines coming out here for baby. aka TY, pushing the issue onto that robotics. If he can get on top of the robotics and kill it off now, that's going to be a fantastic win for him. Marines are just not quite going to cut it, though, against this Reaver. The Reaver is going to easily wipe these out. He's got to be careful not to lose a bunch of tanks in a situation like this. Oh, just barely in range of this tank. There's going to get quite a bit of damage done with the tank back here. One tank has gone down. All the Marines are pretty much dead now. And more Dragoons are continuing to file forward. The one factory production is just not enough to actually push this down. And so TY is kind of missed his opportunity here. And Paralyze has defended this front for now. Going to continue to make use out of that robotics facility for the time being. Now moving in with the double Reavers. Is he actually going to drop on top of this? Oh, he could drop right in the middle of all these tanks and try to take them out. Dropping on the high ground. Some missed shots going to help him out quite a bit here. Taking out one of these tanks. Oh, the second tank's definitely going to go down as well. Now the bunker can potentially fall. Shuttle here. Creeping around in the backside. Another tank pops out just in the nick of time, though. TY will hold on for now. This is a pretty high octane game so far. I'm a little bit sad that I didn't see the moment when TY saw this robo. Maybe he just sussed it out. Not 100% on that, but he picked up on it at some point and immediately had kind of the perfect response here in getting these turrets down at the exact right time to kind of shut this out. Paralyze has still been doing some good work by juggling this Reaver and keeping that robotics alive. And now has two... Wait. Oh, yeah. 2 Reavers once again. 4 Dragoons. And a third base is up as well. TY. Gonna have to be careful here moving forward. He's got Vulture Speed finally coming on the way. Gonna be getting... Oh, mines here. Does he have range on these Goliaths? That's what I'd like to know. Range is very much going to be helping him out. Moving forward, leading with his SCV. Oh, both the Reavers go down. Nice target fire there from TY, but he's going to lose all of his tanks. Not sure this was worth. 2 Reavers for about 4 or 5 tanks. That is rough. And so TY is really on the ropes now. Shuttle is going to pick up another Dragoon here shortly, and TY is just stuck. He can't really move, and he's actually going to lose the bunker now. Oh my gosh, Paralyze gets right in on top of this and kills the bunker. Ouch. This is painful. No more tanks for the time being. He's actually making vultures in that moment. Going to come up from behind. Got to get some mines to potentially connect here. SCV damage is starting to happen, though, and only 44 workers to the 57 of Paralyze. The position gets worse and worse from here. You can see almost mined out of the main base gas geyser here at 10 minutes. It's crazy how much faster that gas geyser runs out. And Paralyze looking for the killing blow. Might want to make himself another shuttle here. Diving right in on top of this. Can he get a big shot with the Reaver? I don't think so. In fact, the Reaver getting no damage at all, and he will just be picking that up to back away. Was hoping to be able to land on top of some of these tanks and really push the issue. Terran boosters is now coming out. I think it was a big mistake for TY to try to move forward without that Terran booster upgrade. So hard to snipe down this shuttle without that upgrade. Looks like he's going to catch a probe. Moving to take a 4th base. At least slowing down that attempt by a little bit here. Scanned in the main base. Didn't really see too much of importance. Finally, a Citadel coming down so that he can get his Zealot legs on the way. Dragoons clearing out vultures here. Over by the 4th. Another probe should be heading over in a moment. Potential to chop that one down as well. Maybe he can cut off the probe, making its way to the 4th for the 2nd time. That will help TY to start to make this comeback. Tanks sieging up, trying to push back these Reavers. He does get rid of the Reavers for now, pushing them away. Probe makes it unscathed into the top left-hand corner. Tanks moving forward here. Finally, it looks like the robo facility will end up going down. One last shuttle escapes before this eventually falls. KCC moving into position, but 2 shuttles are ready for this. Is he going to be able to pincer attack this army and take it out with the double shuttle dropping on top of everything? There's a good chance he makes this work. 1 Reaver is down. 2nd Reaver here. Going to get a 2nd shot off. Dragoons coming from the left-hand side. Reaver being juggled expertly by Paralyze, and he's going to get one last shot there in the middle of all these tanks, and he's at least lowered the potential for this army by quite a bit with all of this engaging, with all of this attacking. The push of TY looking much, much less scary. It seems that he'll have to delicately attempt to take this 3rd base and just hold down this 3rd until he gets around that 160 supply mark. He really is going to have a hard time at 90 supply only, though. Zealots being dropped on top of this, and reinforcement wave is here. I think that this is the curtain call for TY. He's going to be tapping out here as this army goes down, and this will force back his 3rd base. Ooh, a great mine connection there. It's 3 Dragoons, but I don't think it's going to be enough with the Reaver on the high ground, pushing back all of these SCVs. TY is absolutely on the ropes. He's been on the ropes for quite some time, but now things are really coming to a head. Not even with all of these factories can he make it over here to save this command center. Maybe, just maybe, he can float away in time. One shot from the Reaver, making a connection there. Command center still alive for the moment. Can he get one more shot on the Reaver? Not able to get it. And so the Reaver remains alive. Almost no tanks to speak of, just 3 tanks. And you can see the supply here is shooting up. A few kills, it looks like, on this probe line over at the 3rd base. I may want to picture that if it really did some serious damage. But the real story here is this 3rd base and how late it is at this point. 14 minutes in. Things are looking dire here for Baby. He's just run out of gas here. I'm not sure if he's realized it yet as well. Same thing over here. It looks like Paralyze just noticed that. And so he will switch over to that secondary gas. This one with 3,500. Kind of funky gas numbers around the map here. 3,500 on that one. 5,000 on this one. So that's a normal gas number. This one a little bit low. Here comes a storm drop. Paralyze not giving TY even a second of room to breathe. Gonna be dodging that out pretty darn well. 57 workers still for TY. He's definitely hanging in there. Now at 110 supply. I thought that he was going to get eliminated when those tanks were going down, but he somehow managed to just barely stay alive here. Paralyzed, though, expanding out like crazy with 62 probes. Is now on 5 bases. Still has money in his main, albeit not that much. Going to be getting all of these gases online now as well. And growing closer to that max out point. I think he's going to hit this max. Even before 150 supply for TY, most likely. TY desperately trying to crank out as many units as he can. And now finally getting his starport. Still, not mining gas here is a little bit rough. And he's not mining 3 on gas at this third base either. He actually probably needs 4 on that gas geyser to mine it efficiently. And so he's going to be pretty low on gas overall. He's filling out his army with mostly vultures. But he needs more gas if he ever wants to get +2 started. Just needs to go ahead and switch over to this gas geyser and fill up this one. Okay, he's got this one going now. But yeah, it looks like he needs 4 on that gas to actually make it work. That's a little bit unfortunate for the Terran in this spot, that you need 4 on gas to make that work. He did set up a pretty nice spot here with these 2 supply depots. Mines absolutely everywhere. He is aware of his spot. His position is not very good. In fact, he doesn't have anything up here on the high ground. And this is a full drop of Zealot plus... Oh, High Templar here. Good job dodging that storm. For the most part, still 58 workers. Pretty decent job with the dodges there. TY putting on a good show for himself. Hanging in there despite everything. He's still holding on to this third base and keeping himself in this game. Another base going down for Paralyze on that left-hand side. Main base is now nearly run out here. Shuttle finally goes down. More turrets going to replace the old. Double robo just cranking out shuttles like crazy. And Paralyze looks like he's ready to dive in. Like I said, 200 to 150. This is an opportunity here for Paralyze. Is he going to try and run through this army? Or will he look for more SCV damage somewhere? Maybe go for a little High Templar drop at the natural. This is so much saturation. And you get a High Templar storm. There we go. Big storm there. Dropping him about, looks like 10, 15 probes. To 15 workers down. Pretty decent here for TY. One last storm. Gonna clean up a couple of those vultures and dropping TY down to below 150 once again. Army here has been moved all the way back home, leaving TY a little bit of space to get out on the map. He's looking for a 4th base now to replace the one that was lost. Oh my gosh, there's a High Templar over here. Oh man, this High Templar gonna get a huge amount of damage. Now down to 37 workers. That is a little bit hard to recover from. 37 workers is a very low number. Good storms here on the back line. Another nice storm there. Paralyze is clearing out everything, and TY is falling apart now with only 39 workers and 83 supply. It's hard to imagine him coming back in this game. Few mines getting some decent connections here on the army as it tries to push forward, but the tanks have been completely shoved back, and GG is called. Paralyze takes this first game away. All right, next up we've got Ample versus Paralyze. So another player that some of you guys were saying I underrated. Ample spawning over here at the top left-hand corner. It'll be nice to see him going up against Paralyze. Paralyze able to take down TY in that last one. Got a pretty decent advantage there in the early game with his Reaver control. And just held on to it, kept TY back, and slowed him down and did everything that he needed to tee up that final battle. He was able to break through the lines as TY's attempting to take that fourth base. I think there's definitely some growing pains for some of these players on those newer maps, but here we are. I believe this is no, this is not Polestar. Wait, yeah, this is Polestar. Let me go ahead and look. Yeah, this is Polestar. So we're here on Polestar now. And this is a map that these players are more familiar with. Like, I was pointing out last time how TY was mining off of the depleted gas geyser for quite a long time. That's something that is just not a normal thing. Like, this does not happen for Terran players or for any players that early on in the game, that your gas is just suddenly going to be depleted. And so, you know, there's not really any like notification or anything in Starcraft 1 letting you know that the gas is the gas is out. So it's a little bit rough. It's a little bit rough to figure that one out and respond accordingly. And unfortunately, TY wasn't quite able to do that. Wasn't quite able to get that extra gas out, and that probably hurt his tank number, albeit he did end up losing a lot of tanks in the early game. He was having a hard time. I think he had a reasonable chance of still holding that if he had a little bit more tanks in that army. The one that was pushing over towards that fourth base. Now, double gateway after Cybernetics Core here from Paralyze. This is a bit interesting. I haven't really seen many builds like this. And so the double gateway here. Oh, wow. Going to be pulling the SCVs. Trying to come across right here and now. Break this natural. Break this nexus. Paralyze. With the double gateway, will he be able to hold? I think he can, actually. He actually builds a full wall. This is a big part of Polestar. What makes Polestar pretty strong for the early Nexus plays. Like, you can't get the Vulture past here, which makes things very hard. He can come forward and build into the pylon here if he wants to. He's going to be able to kill this SCV, building the bunker. Looks like the Zealot likely to go down here pretty quickly. SCV's running past into the main. This other gateway is going to finish up here, and looks like that bunker will not be finishing. Still more Dragoons being made, but he hasn't started range here yet, so it's going to be a bit hard to actually kill any of these bunkers. And look at this, repairing the SCV to make sure that that bunker finishes, and he's going to get into the second bunker. Oh my gosh. Ample. Actually making this work, kind of. There's no range on the way. Uh-oh. He's going to go ahead and abandon this natural, and he's behind in probes. Having lost quite a few of those. Going to lose the gateway and the pylon now. Pretty painful here as he goes deep into a supply block. This Nexus is likely to fall as well. Ooh, he kills the mine at least. Getting the mine is nice, but not able to kill off that Vulture. Oh, we'll be able to clear that mine as well. Very difficult to fight these mines here without range and without an observer. It's going to be a real chore to try and get rid of these, and it looks like the Nexus is going to fall. That Nexus does end up going down. Robo coming up behind this, and a nice bust of the natural from Ample. He's put himself into a great position back at home, starting a command center. And he's already got mines here. Good shot. Oh, wow. Just going to run through the mines. That's crazy. But I guess it's all right for Paralyze. Just get rid of a few of those mines so he can start the cleanup a little bit quicker. Robo's finally done. He's going to make a shuttle. Good chance he tries to elevator out of the main base here. But it's going to be a dangerous situation from this point on. Mine's going to be laid potentially out on the map. He doesn't have any... Oh, he's got no mines. He's going to have 3 mines coming up here in a moment. Where is he going to be placing these? Placing them on the path towards his base. Thus far. But elevator is still a viable option right now for Paralyze. Here comes that shuttle. Elevator tactic engaged. He's sending this out onto the map. Luckily for him, there's no mines there. A lot of strong players will drop the Dragoon and then immediately pick it up again to make sure that there's no mines that can connect. Budget scouting for mines. He's going to start to move forward here. May end up walking right into this mine. Oh, does take that one hit. Pretty painful. No more mines in between his army and Ample's base, though. Ample going to leave one tank over here with the containing force. Paralyze going to drop a probe out. Nice wall here from Ample. Very smart stuff from him to just go ahead and drop this eBay plus barracks. Buy himself a little more time. All he needs is a couple more tanks, and he should be able to hold this no problem. Getting a little closer here. He's having a hard time moving the tank up. That's probably good enough right there. Should be able to hit any Dragoons that are attacking that barracks. And this is going to be a bit of a wild game now. Paralyze can't really do any attack. Can't even do any counter damage right now. He's behind in probes. But he's got this shuttle. And a dream. Let's see if he can get in here. Kill off some of these tanks with the Reaver. One more shot. Does get the Reaver kill. Can he get the tank on the other side of this wall? Only one Dragoon can fire. That's not going to be good enough. Maybe the Reaver here. Drop the Zealot. Oh, he dropped the Reaver first. It's kind of crazy. Really thought that he would drop the Zealot there to avoid the tank shot, but he takes some damage on that Reaver. Now going to look for some damage here in the main base. Can he get anything done with this Reaver on such low HP? It doesn't feel like it. And so he may just have to bail out of this situation. Still floating back and forth here, causing a bit of chaos on the side of Ample. Second shuttle should be out here soon. Tank there is going to get another kill. Oh, running forward right on top of the mines. Brutal. Going to be losing 2 Dragoons there. I think the Paralyze might just be out of this. With how much damage this attack has actually done and the lack of damage in return, I think Ample's going to start to run away with this game now. Even has some Marines coming out of the bunker. Trying to quickly clear that one Dragoon. Looks like the one Dragoon did end up going down. Reaver comes from behind, so he will be able to get rid of all this without too much more pain. But Ample is just in such a good position. A 5 factory follow-up would be extremely strong. Vultures slip out onto the map. No vulture speed here just yet. These vultures going to slide over towards this third base. He could get a lot of probe kills here. 1, 2 probes, 3 probes, 4 probes, 5 probes, 6 probes. My goodness, that's a lot. 34 to 47 workers now, and a third Nexus finally coming up over here at the natural. Is this about the toughest situation you can imagine for a Protoss player? Losing your natural, being forced to elevator out, units out, and take a Nexus like this, losing a ton of probes, and aside from just straight up dying, this is one of the toughest situations to try and bail yourself out of. Going to be struggling here against Ample, and oh, he loses a Reaver as well. Trades it for 1 tank. Gonna come forward here, try to kill off another tank. Maybe Ample's moving a little bit too far out too quickly. 2 tanks down for the cost of 1 Reaver, not bad at all. These types of small moves are what could start to bring Paralyze back in this game. Good dodge there with the Reaver, managing to keep it along for quite a long time. One more shot here. Can he get it? He does. So a few more tanks go down. Most of the Dragoons end up falling. But maybe this is playable. I don't know. It still seems completely Ample favored. But Paralyze being tenacious here, still with that one Reaver, looking to slow down any advance. 4 gateways, 5, 6, and 7 are on the way, but 5 factories are already done. Ample looks to be moving towards this 3rd base. Ready to go ahead and drop that on location. He's already got turrets and mines set up at the front. And vultures are out on the map looking for additional damage. That vulture speed is on the way here. +1 is coming up as well. Ready for the future in this game. Natural is kind of wide open for Paralyze at the moment. Adding on that pylon wall to try and stifle things a bit. The potential for vulture harass will be slightly limited by this pylon wall. Dragoons in pretty low number as this tank force comes across the map. Can he dive on one of these tanks and get a kill? Not quite. And so the tanks will tuck themselves into a very nice corner here, pushing back Paralyze and forcing him off this base, I think is indeed the final blow. And GG is called. Paralyze just not able to come back in this very difficult game. Let's go back and take a look at that bust once again. So he went for that Nexus first. I was a little bit confused there. I didn't see the Nexus right off the bat. Nexus with a single gateway, then gas, then cyber, then second gateway is where the confusion lied. So, or was lying. Tripping all over myself. Guys, I had a very long ladder session today. I had quite a few of you guys come up and show out for that. Really do appreciate it. Let's take a look at this bust one more time. Because I thought that we were going to see Paralyze actually hold this. There's a chance that he tried to build his range at some point, but it didn't actually start, because you really do want range when your opponent is making bunkers like this. Range is super important in a moment like this. Is he? Oh, he's only mining with 1 probe on gas. Oh man, that really does hurt. And so he just did not have the gas necessary to keep these units pumping and get that range upgrade. And so getting this second bunker up was everything for Ample here. He managed to get the vulture over onto the side where it could actually start to fire at the probes. All Paralyze really needs to do here is get his Dragoons close enough so that they can hit the SCVs and prevent the bunker. But he has a hard time moving over to this side. You can see he's trying to hit that SCV, and he will stop it for now. But look at the Dragoon walks out again. He pulls it back. Just needs to be on hold position here and prevent this bunker from ever going up. That is the main priority right now. You can see he tries to get it into that spot again. He's trying not to take any damage from that vulture. Just get rid of the SCV. That's all you need to do, Paralyze. And look, he's trying to target. He is indeed trying to target that, especially with his probes. But look at this beautiful move from TY when he turns and actually repairs the SCV that's building the bunker. That cinched it. That clinched it for Ample here. Excuse me, I said TY, but a great move from Ample to go ahead and repair this SCV. And the moment that that bunker finished, this Nexus was doomed because of the lack of range. It's a bit unfortunate. You can see he's got quite a bit of money to potentially make that range upgrade. Even after adding these 2 fresh Dragoons. He's still got 230, but he just doesn't have the gas. And that's all because he pulled off of the gas when this attack started. Bit unfortunate for Paralyze that it went this way. But he fought back valiantly from a difficult position. Anyways, that's it for this game. We're going to jump into the next one. All right, guys. Another game between Paralyze and Ample. Yes, they met a few times on the ladder. And so we have the pleasure of casting another one here with Ample spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Paralyze in the center right. Both these guys in separate groups for the round of 24. I put both of them pretty low on my list, my tier list for ASL 20, and quite a few of you guys said that I was maybe wrong about that Ample and Paralyze were better than I was giving them credit for. So we're taking a look at these two to see what they can bring here. So far, pretty impressed with that bunker bust from Ample. Paralyze panicking a little bit during that, not able to prevent the secondary bunker from going down, but for the most part, working pretty well under pressure when he was taking down TY. He had some pretty good micro moments and good decision making and control with the Reaver. Reaver control wasn't quite enough to take down Ample from such a big deficit, but here he's not going to be... Oh, he loses the probe. That is rough. Ample getting a probe kill already, removing that pesky probe from his main, taking a little bit of an advantage already. I was going to say this is slightly more even situation, since Paralyze has not opened with a Nexus first, and Ample here is just going to be getting this factory down, and we'll see what kind of game he wants to play. I'm expecting a Vulture expand here, but anything can happen. Vulture on the way. Nexus coming up. Second Dragoon not being made quite yet. Pretty aggressive Nexus timing coming out of Paralyze. Is going to come across and try to get a kill on this one Marine. He does get that. Wants to slip by, maybe get some scouting information, but doesn't want to take too much hull damage here. Looks like he's managed to kill both of these. Yeah, he will get both of those. Oh my gosh, and he's actually going to get a bunch of damage on the Vulture as well. This is very good for this first Dragoon. Good control here out of Paralyze. Kind of poor decision making from Ample, though, who should have come back to the high ground and been a little bit more defensive with those first few Marines. I'm gonna go ahead and try to hit this SCV. Can he actually get the kill on that? Diving into the bunker is such a good plan. Very nicely done by Ample. Keeping those two SCVs alive. Thinking on his feet. Utilizing that bunker for more than just defense. But will he lose the... Oh, he almost loses the Vulture there. That would have been very painful. Kind of crazy for him to come up and test the front. You know, he might be coming up just up the ramp and get killed by a Dragoon if it's standing up there. So, a bit crazy for him. Oh, is he actually going to spot this and kill it? He will get it. Oh my gosh, barely not. Singularity charge, not quite finishing up in time. He gets it. That corner there. The second Dragoon coming up to surround it. Very good play there by Paralyze. Two more gateways on the way. I don't see where the... Oh, it's here. Observatory. Single tank, one Vulture, two Marines making its way forward. Bit of a paltry force to try and get a little bit done here against these Dragoons. Paralyze should easily be able to handle this. I'm gonna go ahead and clear out that Marine first. And now there's a potential that he loses this tank. It's a little bit scary here. Oh! That mine connection, unfortunately, there for Paralyze. He should be able to get the tank, though, now. And no kill on any of these Dragoons. That is rough. Vulture tries to slip by. Will slip by. Any Dragoons popping out right at this moment? Not quite. Can he get the shot? He does. Huge for Paralyze there. Pretty good move from Ample to try and slip by with the Vulture and the Natural while doing this attack, but overall the attack was a complete failure. 1 lost tank, 2 lost Vultures, and a Marine as well. For absolutely nothing in return. Ample trying to get fancy. It's not paying off so far, and now the Dragoon number is pretty high. With only 1 tank and a second one joining it. No siege mode. Things get a little bit scary. Gonna start to push up here. Hit this bunker. Not sure if Ample's gonna be able to hold on. 2 tanks hitting this 1 single Dragoon is enough to push it back for now. Diving on top of the Dragoon. He tries to get it, or tries to get the tank, excuse me. Does kill the bunker. Pulls back just in time not to get hit by these tanks as they siege up. Bunker will be replaced. So, you know, not the best, not the worst here. Ooh, CC top left. Sneaky boy Ample. Knows that he's in a bad situation and wants to try and make the best out of it by sneaking a CC way over in top left. We'll see if he can get away with that and for how long. 1 Dragoon in range of the supply depot is pretty annoying. But really won't amount to much as another tank makes its way forward. Oh, can he actually hit a tank here? Oh, it's pretty crazy, but Paralyze is going for it here. He loses 3 Dragoons. He's gonna stay because he needs to get some value out of this 1 tank for 4 Dragoons and nearly loses a 5th. Not a great trade there either. Both players making some questionable decisions so far. And kind of throwing their opponent a bone. First Ample with that attack across the map with barely any units, just 1 tank and 2 Vultures, a Marine. Now Paralyze diving for these tank kills that have lost him a good chunk of Dragoons. A large part of his army in this early game has gone by the wayside because of those decisions. Will he make better ones with the follow-up? Has not yet scouted in top left to find this base from Ample, and Ample's gonna get away with a lot of mining. Slowly but surely. It's gonna take a while to get a good number of SCVs here. He's only making 1 at a time for now, and in fact he's kind of forgotten about it as he slowly starts to push forward. Actually needs to queue up a bunch of SCVs here. Keep this ball rolling. Oh, Reaver drop over in the Natural. Gets a big connection there. I'm not sure. Oh, these Dragoons ran past the barracks when it was lifted off. And so he gets past the wall, but the Dragoons are kind of trapped. 2 tanks do go down, though. Plus a few kills on these SCVs. So it's not bad. Not bad at all for Paralyze. Ample getting back to production over in this top left. Needs to make use out of that now. Having this 3rd base is incredible for his chances. It's really going to give him this leg back into the game. At least over time. It's not quite paid for itself yet. Spending that 400 minerals and plus an SCV ran up here. Minus 1 SCV as well. To go ahead and get that base in the top left. It needs to be alive for a bit longer. Needs to keep making those SCVs and setting them to mine. It is a chore. Ample trying to move forward like he has a real desire to get this 3rd base online, but in fact he knows he doesn't quite need it yet. He's got the base in the top right. Still, he's gonna push forward here and actually get a few tanks picked off. 2 or 3 tanks end up going down. 1 tank over here on the wall is actually giving him quite a bit of firepower, quite a bit of cover as he tries to push forward. Ooh, the barracks goes down, unfortunately, there, and a 4th base on the way for Paralyze. Reaver still doing a great job. This is some stellar Reaver control from Paralyze. He's been doing an awesome job at keeping back these Terrans who are trying to push forward. Every single time he's been able to leverage those Reavers to great effect. Maybe not quite as strong as Snow with the Reaver, but definitely a consummate level for a Protoss Pro gamer. Making maximum value out of that Reaver, and it looks like he's going to be holding this high ground for now. CC on the way here as Ample prepares for this quote-unquote 3rd base. The 3rd base, which Paralyze believes is quite late at this point. Unfortunately for him, he has no idea that this is now kind of fully mining here with about 1 SCV per patch once he gets those to work. Gas is coming up as well, and this CC is about to float out. 5th base is coming up for Paralyze. He really does think he's got quite a significant lead at this point. However, Ample has a secret, and it's going to remain that way for the time being. Paralyze making no moves to go checking around the map. In fact, he hasn't even checked up here. Gonna leave that for later. And it should be pretty unfortunate when he finally finds out that this has been mined for quite some time. In fact, that may come into effect later. If this game goes really long and Ample mines out a lot of this base over here, and eventually Paralyze is going to want that base. And if he takes it, but it's got hardly any minerals there, it's going to be quite sad for him. Very carefully moving forward here, Ample. Going to start to clear out this 4th as well. Has a good enough defensive position to where he feels that he can start to look towards that 4th base. Reaver's been driven to the north. Is it finally going to scout over there in top left? Doesn't look like it. Kind of looks like he's just going to go over to top right. Maybe defend with the Reaver in that position from these Vulture raids. The mining here. It looks like TY's done making workers in this location. And he's just going to reap the benefits at a low saturation there as long as possible. Might not be able to fully mine it out, but he's getting a lot of money out of that location. And here comes a big push now. Gonna go ahead and lift the CC, evacuate the workers, bringing back the Vultures now as well. This is going pretty darn well for Ample, I'd say. All of the Zealots are now gone, and you cannot push any farther forward. You will retain that CC and can land it back down again with 138 supply. I think that Paralyze might start to feel a bit of anxiety here, a bit of a question mark in the mind for Paralyze at this point. Why does he have so much? It's starting to get to that point where he might begin to be a bit suspicious. This Terran is only supposed to have 2 gases. How is he able to afford so much? He's got 700 gas in the bank right now. No Vultures here for the time being, and so these Zealots will actually be able to get up on top of a lot of these tanks. And so quite a few tanks will end up going down. Unfortunately for Ample, he just didn't have his Vultures in the correct position at that moment. And so Paralyze actually takes a reasonable trade. Still, this base will be reestablished, and the center left is now taken. Let's see what's the follow-up here from Paralyze. Looks like he's just going to go for a lot of Gateway Men, Storms, and Shuttles. Try to fight him like that. Reaver over here, looking for some damage, trying to slow down this base here in the center left. Unable to do so. Base in top right is not mining. Has yet to transfer any probes to that location. Looks like he's going to transfer them now. This is a great opportunity for vultures to snake in. Try to get some kills. Doesn't seem like Ample is awake, though, to this move. In fact, he's going to go ahead and scan. Seems like he's preparing to move forward. I don't really like this from Ample. I'd much rather see him go into the middle of the map and start to lock that down instead. But pushing along the pizza slices, it's kind of tempting for these Terrans, but I assure you, moving through the middle, Light has proven that that is the superior option. You can see here, Zealots and Dragoons are going to be dumped on top of this. High Templar there ends up dying before it can get any storms off, but the second one gets a great storm. Able to get rid of a lot of these vultures as the Zealots spill forward. Does end up eating quite a bit of damage from his own storm on some of those Zealots, and as he pushes forward even further, it's a deep tank line that he's got to deal with. Target fire onto the Templar is very good, and the Dragoons are starting to dry up. Oh my goodness, trading out a lot of these Dragoons for not that much damage. Going to drop some Zealots on top of these tanks. See if he can't get something done here. Storm, not able to get it, and he loses the shuttle with no storms coming out. That is a big loss for Paralyze. Having a hard time shutting down Ample while Ample continuing to mine in top left. These are the type of games that really frustrate me when I'm playing on ladder. When the Protoss player has a base that I just don't know about, it is super frustrating. But here, the roles are reversed, and Protoss now unaware of the kind of illegal base. This never should have been able to be established. Cannot hold that location, but just gets to mine from there for free because Paralyze is not active enough on the map to find out about it. And you can see he's sending something over here now. Vultures just raiding around, not doing anything too suspicious. Is this Dragoon finally gonna find that? Nope. Still not able to find it. Finally sending more Dragoons up towards that location. Dragoons pushing in here now as well. Oh god. A lot of kills there. And finally it seems that Paralyze is actually going to find out about this. No, he's not. Vultures raiding over here. Shuttles coming in for some counter damage. Can he get some big storms on this mineral line? Great storms here. Oh my god. Huge kills there. Absolutely enormous kills over at that location. Still unaware here of the base. Just inches from the top center. And the money is starting to dry out. 800 minerals only left on this. I'll remind you, 1,500 is where these minerals would start. And so he's mined nearly half of those mineral patches. Pretty painful for Paralyze when he finally finds out about that. That half of this base is nearly gone. EMP on the way now. Do we have any... No transition at all. Another drop over here. Trying to get some storms off. Not able to get it, though. One storm does land. Gets a few SCVs. Down to 56. Still a very reasonable supply of workers. Nearly half of the gas is gone, too. Oh, my gosh. Paralyze. Still not realizing that. He is going to be kicking himself when he finally notices the space in top left. And in fact, vultures are going to move over towards the top center. Might even be able to prevent this Nexus and cannons from going down at top center. Cause Paralyze even more headaches around that area. Running through the map, laying down mines absolutely everywhere. Causing more problems for Paralyze to have to deal with. As we get closer to that max supply, +2 is done. +3, +1 here for Paralyze. Finally, he sees it. He sees it. There it is. Paralyze gonna try and take this base. He sends some Zealots over here to clean the SCVs, and Ample just going to let them continue to mine. He's not even going to pull those workers. He's like, all right, go ahead. This base has absolutely paid for itself. It's paid for itself about 5 times over, maybe 10 times over. Netting him probably around 4,000 minerals. And, you know, about 2,500 gas, 2,700 gas. So that's pretty darn good. He'll take it. Just let the SCVs die. Nexus is going to be taken over here at 12. And Paralyze is... He's hurting bad, but he's going to go for an attack now. See if he can catch these tanks that are moving out. One of those shuttles gets shut down really early on. More High Templar popping out here, trying to get some good storms off, but there's not a lot of zealots now left over in this army, and the tank line is very deep. Everything gets pushed back, dropping down to 150 supply on either side. Both players losing quite a bit of supply there. Kind of favoring Paralyze a little bit in that trade, though, because he was able to trade out some of those tanks and at pretty reasonable efficiency. At this point in the game, you'll take what you can get. It's hard to take a fight with the Terran player at this point in the game where you're able to trade even kind of even distribution in terms of supply. So moving towards the middle now, Ample has the right idea. Gonna start to set up tanks along these walls and just control the center of the map. Very hard to dislodge a Terran player from a location like this. Now spreading out around the center. The real strong... Oh, wow. Okay, some Dragoons went down to some mines over here. These mines that were laid down by Ample earlier really paying off. Once you get into a position like this, that's when things become very difficult for Paralyze. Once you can set up tanks along these walls, then you can start to cut off the rotation of the Protoss army. Now moving up towards the top center, going along the pizza slices once again. Moving through this area is so much better. Just in my opinion. I think in Light's opinion as well, from what I've seen from him, really seems to favor that sort of pathway through the map. But here we are with another Terran player going along the left-hand side, along the pizza slices, going to eat a lot of storms. Again, trading at a pretty okay efficiency, but it's getting a little bit worse now. +3 never started. Oh, wait, excuse me. They both just finished. Never mind. I saw armor going on in the production tab, but I guess +3 attack finished just seconds before. And so he has managed to make it up to 3-3. Now the army is going to trade so well. It'll be very hard for Paralyze to continue taking fights with this type of army. Zealot, High Templar, Dragoon is just not going to fare well against the 3-3. You need to keep games scrappy if you want to win from situations like this. Storm on the SCVs. I mean, it's something, but it's not going to carry him through the rest of this game, just killing off a few more SCVs. He can easily replace 46 workers right now. Storm? No, not able to get it. 46 to the 66. Maybe there's a hope. With so little workers, though, this supply is massive. Look at that. Ample at a full max out with only 46 workers. That is a huge supply of mech army. We got +1 attack on the way. Maybe a carrier transition at some point. Seems a little late for that now, though. Gonna continue to take these fights and hope for the best. Continue to wipe out armies. That's a lot of tanks stacked up, man. Ample, I wish you would spread these things out a little bit more. And where are the Goliaths to try and help this out? Oh my goodness. This fight is going to be insanely good for Paralyze. These storms in the back line absolutely crushing a lot of these tanks. And you can see the supply plummet on either side. Dropped down to about 120 for a moment there, but immediately dumping a lot of that money back into those gateways here. 12 Dragoons and 3 Zealots are on the way at the moment. Bringing forward even more shuttles as well. 2 more shuttles in the production tab. It's a shame that Ample didn't have adequate anti-air with that last fight. He lost a lot of tanks. Gonna keep pushing forward though. Setting up another position. And forcing Paralyze back. Slowly but surely, bit by bit. He's now got the position where you can start to hit stuff in the main base here in top left, but not a lot to hit for the time being. Ooh, the EMP, so clutch. Actually missed the majority of those High Templar, kind of surprisingly. There's still quite a few storms available. Another High Templar goes down. 164 to 190. Definitely maxing out faster, but can he max out quick enough and get his army to the front fast enough to break through one of these forces? Is it time to counterattack elsewhere now? Or is he going to continue to ram it down and just try to break this front? Looks like the counterattack is imminent. Making his way over towards the third base. Let's see if Paralyze can make any headway here. Dropping some Zealots out. On top of a lot of this stuff. High Templar goes down immediately. There's a storm on the back line. Not bad at all. Some more storms are available, but Dragoons are not going to cut it. So many of them starting to fall here as he tries to push forward. Just that little bit more is going to be denied, and Ample sitting at 160 supply each and every time these fights occur. And at the end, Ample has more supply than the previous, and that's a losing proposition for Paralyze. He's throwing away huge amounts of army and reproducing it as quickly as possible, but he cannot match the efficiency of Ample, and Ample is going to slowly but surely move towards this mineral only. Throwing down some storms here. Not really getting much purchase with those storms. Dropping Zealots on top. Once again, High Templar here in the mix. Pretty good at storms on a lot of these Dragoons, but cannot close with the rest of the Gateway army to get any damage done. Base over here at the bottom, 6 o'clock. No probes over there for the moment. You should be transferring some there soon. Not a lot of defense over here, as most of the attention is being paid over to this top left for both players. If Ample's able to break this base, then he's going to win this game 100%. Even if he doesn't, he may be able to just wear down his opponent over time. Killing off more and more Dragoons here and slowly pushing forward. Paralyze is being pushed ever closer to the edge. Ever closer to being shoved out of this game entirely. We never saw the transition over into... One kill over here. Not a lot of damage. Still only 40 workers for Ample, but he's just got such a great standing army. It's so hard to reduce this enough to where it actually affects Ample in any sizable way. And see, he's only on 154 supply, but he looks invulnerable. Look at how many tanks this is. He got so many tanks through the map. It's not like you can easily take a fight with any of these locations. 39 workers is all he has. But still able to stand up against the... with a 149 supply, able to stand up against the 200 of Paralyzed on 70 workers, 71 workers, pushing forward here. Good storms on some of these Goliaths and tanks, but as the Zealots kind of vaporize, Ample will hold strong once again, starting to mine down here, but hasn't really sucked up many resources just yet. This base is just about out as Ample already used most of those minerals. Still continuing on here at only 138 supply. Gotta drop a zealot and then... Oof. Oh, that's painful. Gonna drop a zealot and then throw down a High Templar for some storms, but wasn't able to do it. Should be able to get it down eventually if he continues with that. Keep at it, Paralyze, and you might be able to get some big storms on these SCVs and tanks. Moving his whole army up, Paralyze once again nearing max. But still having a hard time taking these fights. Running through the mines now. Can he actually get on top of all this? High Templar in the center. Oh my gosh, that storm went directly between those two tanks. It hit neither of them. Heard the science vessel go down. Storm on the low ground. New Matrix tank, the last one here standing. Looks like he's going to be able to take that out in the end. And push everything back. Has a 60 supply advantage, guys. Paralyzed with 60 supply. More than ample. A lot of it is in these gateways right now, but can he bring it to bear to actually take out this base? He's working very hard to get that done. Mineral check here shows that there's only a little bit of minerals over at the center left. He needs to keep this base alive. Great storm there. Going to kill a lot of these SCVs. Down to just 35 workers. Ample was looking pretty powerful, but he is so close to the edge here. Dragoons, the last Dragoon to come forward, gets one last tank kill. This base appears to be going down now. Again, 50 supply advantage for Paralyze, but having a hard time keeping this base alive. Looks like he can bring forward a few more units. Should be able to stop these tanks from hitting. Get rid of these tanks here. And he can hold on to this base for a little bit longer. Definitely needs to keep mining because it's one of the few remaining mining bases. Paralyzed getting away with murder, holding that base down at 6 o'clock. Storms on the mineral line once again. Just 33 workers now. They've been slowly going away here as this game has progressed. Command center goes down. Ample having a hard time of dropping below 100 supply now. Has a few more tanks here to keep pushing the issue. Archon tanking a lot of damage and even getting some kills as well. Zealots filing in from the rear with a few more Dragoons. Can he actually stop this? He's getting so close to holding. Still, the tank line is deep. Vultures tanking a lot of that damage. Dragoons trying to get a few more kills here. High Templar comes in from behind. Doesn't get the storm, though. Most of the tanks have been pulled over to this location. Still has a tank in the main base. He's going to pull these ones over from the third. Tank count very low at this point. 149 supplies been scraped together by Paralyze, bringing it to the front once again. Can he actually break this? It's getting so close, guys. This is coming down to the wire. Just another round of units from Paralyze, and he's going to go again. He really doesn't want to be losing this Nexus. The pressure is on. Ample bringing the few remaining tanks that he has to the front. Storm. Oh, a lot of these SCVs go down. 32 workers left. Does throw away some of his storms, though, for that. And so he doesn't have enough storm to actually keep hold of this Nexus, which is getting to be a bit of a problem. This base still mining for the time being. Center left is pretty much gone. Zealots can be dropped on top of this. A lot of Zealots over here at the top right. Now it's actually happening, guys. What I talked about at the very beginning of this game, it's actually coming to pass. This base that was mined by Ample is starting to affect the game. not only that it gave him those minerals, but it's starting to deny Paralyze, who's going to be mining on just one base here in a moment. Same thing goes for Ample, though. Ample's just about out on this base, and he'll be mining only from this mineral only in just a few moments. Yeah, this is actually, it's crazy. This hurts Paralyze so much. The fact that this is already almost mined out. A lot of mines over here. I don't see an observer with this. There's the observer. Gotta be super careful. This is like the last real army of Paralyze. If he throws this army away and doesn't prevent the base from being taken on the side of Ample, this could be the end of this game. He needs to make this work. Bringing everything forward, trying to clear out some mines carefully with the Dragoons, but taking fire from the tank on the high ground. Loses a Zealot here. Storm to get rid of some of these mines. Not the best use of Storm. Oh, the EMP on the back line is huge. Big EMP there gets rid of several High Templars' energy. And so a lot of those Storms have been eliminated. This is a great defensive position here for Ample. He's 40 supply behind, but a lot of that is those workers. Well, 30 of that supply is in workers, so one last hoorah here from Paralyze. Gonna dive on top of the back line, dropping a lot of Zealots here from both sides. Zealots getting on top of a lot of this stuff. High Templar going down for the most part. High Templar Storm, not enough Storm here to kill all of these tanks. Dragoons coming up from the low ground, but they're gonna get absolutely splattered, and I think this is it. Is just about run out of gas. Paralyze is going to be taken out of this game. He didn't mine enough of this 12 o'clock. Didn't mine that quickly enough. It's a shame he didn't send more probes to that location when he still had it under control. Because then Ample would be completely out of money with this mineral only going down. Still trying to come forward, but GG is called. Yeah, there was still some more money here. Right? Imagine if Paralyze had this base and he still had a bunch of money over here at this base. Right? He took this first, but this mined out far before this one would have mined out. So Ample having that hidden base brings him to a victory in this game. That's got to be a sour loss here for Paralyze. He's definitely going to be feeling a bit salty about that, but a good tug of war between these two players here on Dominator was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for joining me and getting caught up and finding out where these two players are at. We saw TY also gets honorable mention, but I was really interested in Paralyze because I wasn't expecting the response from you guys on the tier list saying that I was underestimating Paralyze and talking about how good he was. Ample too. So I was interested to see a little bit more from these guys before we go into that ASL. Guys, if you're interested in watching the ASL live and you don't know that there's an English cast, we have an English cast. It's on Soup Live, SETVEN. Link is in the description. We're going to be casting that live with a clean stream. Shun and I, we did it last season too, and you guys can join us over there. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.